Hi guys, hope you're well. As per request, I've had a lot of requests to get more testimonials on the channel. It's been something that I've been wanting to do. It's just, supporting clients and life gets in the way sometimes. So I should be releasing quite a few more of these in the coming weeks. But today we have one of my ex-clients who I think recently, I think not too long ago, completed the premium program with us. And I just want to introduce Alec to the community. So Alec, maybe you can just start with giving people an insight into where you were when you first came to me in terms of your symptoms, a little bit about who you are, etc. That would be great because I think people just want to get into it, to be honest. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I am very fast paced. I work a lot. I'm a high performing individual. And I started seeing things in my vision and just went in the wormhole of trying to figure it out. And then I came across visual snow and all these things. And I severely dysregulated my nervous system to the point where I could barely do anything. I could barely work. I could barely spend time with my wife. I could barely spend time with my kid without feeling like I can't even just be present or even just function as a normal human being. And my symptoms were very extreme at the time. I felt that I was not going to make it out of it.
How did it start for you, Alec? Because a lot of people, you probably saw all the stories. Like a lot of people come to me, and everybody's situation's a little bit different. Do you recall like what exactly the factors were that led up to you starting to see visual stuff, etc.?
Yeah, so I remember I actually had my first panic attack, and then I started having a few more. And I noticed every time that I had a panic attack, I had this like feeling that was lingering, like this like anxiety, like yucky feeling. I wasn't feeling like myself, spacey, DPDR type stuff. And then I had a migraine with aura. And then after that happened, I became so laser focused about my vision. And, I believe I started having OCD like tendencies and looking for stuff just all the time. And the more I looked, the more stuff appeared. And it was nuts.
And just for the history, like you've suffered with anxiety in the past as well, right? Like, I mean, this is something that you've kind of had a lot for large part of your life, right? Like it wasn't just this happened out of nowhere, right? There was consistent amount of years where, you were probably running at a million miles an hour. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say many years I had anxiety, and even though I felt like I didn't, I definitely did, and traumatic things that happened in my life as they
Yeah.
do to everybody, and just led to extreme anxiety, and I couldn't do anything. I literally could not do anything.
Well, what symptoms did you have exactly? Like just for the audience, right? Just like 'cause they always ask me. So do you recall
Yeah.
exactly what symptoms they were?
Oh yeah, I can recall. So I had after images really bad,
Hmm.
and then like the visual snow itself, especially in the dark. I had really bad light sensitivity. So when I'd go outside, I would, if I was outside too long, I would see a vortex and things like that.
Yeah.
I also had like body shakes, like especially my arms and my shoulders when I felt anxious.
Hmm.
I would get like super shaky, and then just kind of a like I'm gonna pass out feeling like all the time, and then
Yeah.
a ton of DPDR. Like I remember waking up and like not knowing where I am or who I was. I would look in the mirror and it would just be a meat sack, and I'd be like, "What is happening?" And it was really 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 scary. It was scary.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, and those things tend to build, right? So, for a lot of people, they don't always come at once, right? Like it's in stages.
Yeah.
You start to get increasing symptoms, and you
Yeah.
start researching more, you start getting more symptoms. So you fell into that normal wormhole, right? Like of going on the Facebook groups and trying to
Yeah.
go on the Reddit groups and trying to find quick solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, Reddit was absolutely brutal for my mental health during that
Yeah,
time. I remember like when I got after images, I didn't know what they were.
yeah,
And then I was Googling through visual snow symptoms and I found what after images were. And then I checked for them and then they never went away.
yeah. Yeah, it's the brain works in pretty amazing ways. It's usually, as I said, like I try to get people onto the program before they go into those rabbit holes, and it's always easier working with people who've not gone down that road, um,
Yeah.
because you've seen yourself, right? Like 6 months after, how damaging some of that early stuff can be. When
Yeah.
you start listening to the wrong people, when you start believing this can't be cured, when you start speaking to people who haven't healed in 20 years, it takes, imagine you already have a, destabilized nervous system and you're hearing all that. Well, what do you think your nervous system's going to do? It's going to freak out even more. Whereas we're kind
Yep.
of looking for safety and calm, and those are not calm places to go to, like Reddit
Absolutely not.
and Facebook. So, okay. So on a more positive note, so like, I mean, pretty much sounds like at that time it was 10 out of 10 symptom wise, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, I never thought that I would be able to even function normally again, ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously 6 months after the program, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, across the board, let's say, just keep it easy. Where would you say your symptoms are right now?
I would say around a 3.
3 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So you're able to function in the world. You're able to do stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, you're on a business trip, you told me right now. So it's all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like this you would never have thought about before. When we first spoke, I mean, you were
Yeah.
pretty much in the
Yeah.
middle of it, I remember.
Yeah.
But no, that's fantastic. So in the set, and with the remaining three, because obviously, people are going to be asking, okay, for what's full resolution look like? And I always say to people that once you're on the path of restabilizing your nervous system, once you put in the work in, it is just a matter of time. But
Yep.
the key thing is to start living before all of your symptoms are 100%, because that's the mistake people make, right? They wait for their symptoms to get down to a complete zero, and
Hmm.
it's that pressure that they put on themselves for the last
Yep.
15-20% or whatever that keeps them stuck in that left to 15%. So, we've discussed it. You're on the path,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you know, what would you say to people who are in that last phase as well? Is just, keep sticking to what they know works and not start to move back
Yep.
into doubt and those type of areas. So what would you say on that side?
I would say for those people, as myself, as number one, don't put a timeline on it,
Exactly.
and number two, like keep yourself busy with life, and don't get so bent out of shape if you happen to have a symptom or if you have just one bad day or a bad hour, because it's always going to go up and down until it's quote unquote gone.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, like I've had days where I forgot that I was dealing with this, and then something comes up, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're there, but I'm not going to let you bother me today.
And that's the key thing. It's about when you're at that stage, you're practically healed anyway, right? It's just,
Yeah.
as I said, it's a matter of time because you're living life, right? These symptoms are not bothering you, right? They're dropping off. And
Mhm.
this is what a lot
Yep.
of people don't realize, right? Like it's a journey. We're talking about a nervous system, like in your case, we talked about, that's been sensitized for pretty much your whole life. Okay.
Yeah.
So when that nervous system needs to be recalibrated and sensitized, and kind of reformed as such, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take time for that safety element to come through. It can take months, right? It can take, up to a year, I would say, for my longest clients, for the system to really kind of come back online. But the key thing is when you're starting heading in the right direction, you start to see that progress that just builds upon itself. And that's kind of where we're at. Like, with a lot of clients, like they'll go through um, you know, areas of working with me. And as soon as they figure out what the key points are to recovery, okay, it anxiety just drops, right? They're basically like, okay, I just need to do this. I'm happy with my life. I get it. It's not that much of a big deal anymore. It's going to resolve. And it's that kind of indifference and comfort that resolves the rest. That's typically
Yeah.
what happens with with a lot of clients. So on that, obviously we talked a little bit about, what's changed in the last 6 months. It sounds like, your anxiety, that was a big thing for you. That's pretty much gone, would you say, on that side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to get on an airplane,
Yeah.
and now I can get on an airplane and fly without any anxiety, and it's
Yeah.
that's been my biggest hump, as well as just like normal daily life. But yeah, the airplane thing took the longest to get over for anxiety, but it's completely gone. Just about very very little anxiety.
Yeah. Because what we did is, when you first came to me, there was an area of containment that we had to put you in, right? We had to get you out of that panic stage. And then
Yeah.
over time, what we do is we gradually expose you to the outside world to the point where now you're doing pretty much the most stressful stuff you can do, which is flying to another state, doing work, etc. And you're doing that with a smile on your face, right? So,
Yeah,
so
for
this is
sure.
the whole point, right? Like, not it's stages that you go through. So the other thing that I wanted to ask you was, in terms of like other programs, because I know you tried a lot of other stuff before you came to Two Paths, okay? Like, which other stuff did you do? Like nervous system only programs, that kind of stuff? Maybe you can talk about like a little bit about what you tried before you came to Two Paths.
Yeah, I mean, I, I've spent so much money on all types of different things, and I just really struggled to find anything that worked.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, like going to YouTube and type in, I'm dealing with this. How do I heal myself? And like uh, nervous system resets and all of these things
Yeah.
that are supposed to help you, and nothing worked. And I probably spent probably $50,000 on different therapies and all these different things that I thought would help me, and they just
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
So what do you think was different about working with us? Like, just high level stuff. Like what?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing for me that I learned through this program was changing my core beliefs about what this was and why it happened to me.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe down at the core that I know now nothing is wrong with me, and
Yeah.
that was like a pivotal point in my journey here.
Yeah. And also, the additional stuff of, we talked about mindset work, but we did a lot of the physical work as well, right?
Yeah.
What did you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, not maybe go into details, but just the physical side of things that we did, the parasite work, the detox work, um, you know, all the kind of gut work that we did, and how important that was also to kind of take the strain off the nervous system.
Yeah, at first I think I was a bit skeptical about all of those things, but
Yeah.
as I started doing them, and as long as you're consistent, it makes a huge difference. And I think like a lot of those things got me through stage to stage.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I was able to get enough pressure off myself, and I was doing the exercises and these physical things that we were doing with the gut stuff and everything was able to get me to the next stage so I could continue down the path and getting healed.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people that you know, a lot of people will ask me the question of, can this be resolved just by nervous system work? Right. That's a lot of the time that people ask. But what people don't understand is, nervous systems, there's a lot of things that go into a nervous system kind of breaking down, right? And that can be anxiety, medications that you've taken, your diet, gut issues, parasites, all of these things. It's never just one thing, it's a collection of things. So that's what we try to do. And I remember when we first spoke, it was a lot around your kind of diet. It was around certain habits that you had, certain things that you didn't realize were also contributing to your anxiety and, the pressure on your immune system. So everybody's case is different. And if like we had to, adjust obviously the program specifically to your situation.
Yep.
And that's where I think we started to see like the biggest changes. So what would you say is, as I said, like the biggest improvement? So, you've talked about anxiety, the visuals and all that. They've gone down, what, about 70, 80%? Do they bother you at all anymore, or?
To be honest, the actual visual snow,
Mhm.
um, I, I don't even want to associate myself with visual snow anymore, which is amazing. And then
Yeah,
I don't ever see the visual snow anymore. The snow itself doesn't ever bother me. Like I
yeah,
never spend time looking at it. I mean, I'll get like the occasional after image here and there, but it's never like bothering me to the point where I can't function. So, yeah, I've seen a huge decrease in the visual symptoms specifically. I would say 85%, 90%.
And so as I said, like compared to like when we were speaking, so you already know it's on its way out, right? These things
Yep.
don't, as I told you before, visual stuff is usually some of the last things to go, right? Because
Yep.
it's like a volume knob on the state of your nervous system. So once
Yep.
you keep doing and we know you got to stay on the program, right? You're 100% confident this stuff is on its way out, and that's what people kind of need to know. So in terms of like obviously working together with two paths, etc., like who would you recommend this to? Like who would you recommend this program to?
I would recommend it to anybody that feels like one, they can't figure it out, and two, that they feel like they're dying because that's how I felt when I found two
Yeah,
paths. I felt that I had been everywhere and tried everything,
yeah,
and I was willing to do anything, like literally anything, to try to make this go away. So if you're dealing with visual snow, or you've had a migraine with aura, or you have the severe DPDR, I highly suggest at least looking into it and seeing seeing it through to working, because it's been I almost have my life back, and I don't know what I would have done without it.
yeah. And in terms of like the support you got and that, like a lot of people, because you work with me primarily, like me and you've got to
Yeah,
know each
I
other quite
did.
well, right? So
Yeah.
so like that's what I also say to people. It's important, and I'm not like um, talking about my program specifically, but like a lot of people do nervous system work, or they'll take something from here, or do a little bit from there, etc. You need to have a plan, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes obviously it's better to work with people who've been through this and who've worked with other clients who have this, because they know exactly what to tell you. Like, you used to have some specific situations that I could guide you on specifically and give you exact steps to take during the day, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's important for a lot of people. So if you are looking for people to work with or practitioners, it's good to obviously work with people who've been through the same journey that you
Yeah.
have and have actually helped other people. So that's why I'm kind of doing more of these testimonials, I'll be honest, because there's just so much noise out there. And Alec, you know this, right? Like there's so much noise out there of this nervous system program will heal this, or this nervous system will heal that, or visual snow can never be healed, all that. So what would you say to all that nonsense, right? That you heard when you first like all that negative stuff, like before you came to me, because I remember you were extremely skeptical when you first joined our
Yes.
program. You were like, oh god, this is just another thing, it's just another thing. So
Yeah, I would say, looking back now, I in my head, I'm like, I can't believe that I felt that way about all of these different things, and was looking up so many things all the time. And I it's just mind-boggling now to go back and think about it. So, and what was your question again? I was just so mind-boggled on how I was looking at everything back then to how I
yeah, no,
see things today.
I
I
don't I
was
don't want you,
just
I don't want to take you back there, but I'm just trying to kind of make the point that, obviously you were extremely confused when you came to the program, right? You didn't know what was
yes,
going on. And there's other
right,
people that have been on this journey for years and years and years. There's people who've had visual snow for decades, right? Who've healed.
yeah,
There's people who've tried every single doctor. Like you went down the same path that I went down. You saw multiple doctors, tried multiple programs, etc. But what I'm trying to say, and what the message that I'm trying to put out there is with these testimonials, is that this is 100% recoverable. And if people like
yes,
you can do it, I can do it, right? Other testimonials, right? Like it's 100% recoverable. And that's the biggest part of the message that we're trying to put out there today is do not listen to any of that negative noise out there, right? You can fix this and you can fix, you can regain your life, right? And that's where you're at right now. So Alec, thanks, man. Look, this has been, thanks for doing this, and really, really happy that you're living life. And where are you right now? You're in Texas,
Uh,
or?
yeah, I'm in Texas, and I've been traveling for 4 days now. So it's been just incredible. I'm able to do what I'm able to do today. So I
Well,
appreciate it.
as I always say, just keep on the program, or everything that you learn, right? Like, because it's very important that we don't drop back into our existing habits, right? Like
For
that's
sure.
we've rebuilt your nervous system to a relatively strong point now. So it's
Mhm.
about continuing that journey, because we never stop the healing, especially in this world, right? We never
Yeah.
stop the healing, and it's about learning those habits to keep us safe for the future. So, Alec, thanks, man. Take care, and I'll catch you later. All right. Cheers, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. See
Cheers.
ya.